Our next question is for our candidates from West Maui. Honoapiilani Highway presents a number of traffic and commerce challenges, from beachfront erosion and fire closures, a lot this year, to accident investigation blocks and everyday gridlock. What specific alternative transportation options, plans, and priorities will you champion to promote open traffic flow that tourists, residents, and West Maui businesses can count on? And our first respondent is Alan Fukuyama.
Well, priority for us is to get those projects expedited, the one that's being done now. For an example, that Honoapiilani expansion, widening, was approved 30 years ago. 30 years ago. The cost now is outrageous. You know, it's probably 10 times what it would cost if they had started it 30 years ago. And they could have broken it down in phases, but no, they took the monies and put it someplace else. The monies was appropriated for those projects. And we gotta make sure that if the monies are appropriated, that the jobs begin and not wait 30 years. The Lahaina bypass was long due, maybe 20, 21 years ago. And it's now has started. And it is a massive project. In fact, I passed the part where it's gonna cross under Lahaina Luna Road. And I swear they must have about 50 million tons of concrete going in there, because one weekend, a couple weeks ago, they were pouring at night. 11 o'clock at night, the concrete trucks were passing our home. And I was wondering, oh, what's going on? But you know, it was, they must be far behind. That's why they're working at night, pouring concrete. But then again, if you fall behind and you need to do those kind of things at night or during the weekends, then it adds costs again. So we need to be a little bit more efficient on pushing the projects forward and not waiting. And that is why we're in this dilemma right now with the roads. Natural disasters are inevitable. It'll happen. However, we need to avoid the people from being stuck. So, like I said, expedite those projects, and we should be moving our way. Thank you.
Thank you. Ellie Cochran.
You know, that is the billion-dollar question for West Maui, and I think the poly is the challenge. That's where everything stops. And yes, the bypass, phase 2 is broken ground. Yes, we're widening Honoapiilani. I really am curious to see how all that's going to alleviate, because everything's just going to bottleneck back down to Keawe Street and whatever. So it's, the project's moving forward, that's fine. But the question is, how are we going to avoid the closures upon the Poly Road? And that, you know, and I like Bob Carroll had mentioned, and Wayne Nishiki working with federal state entities also. And I've worked with the General Plan Advisory Council, followed their steps, and they're already designated transportation corridors for future possibly rail, future possibly raised highways. I mean, I've seen so many plans and sort of dreams that can occur and happen, whether that's going to, where's the money's gonna come from. You know, possibly utilizing some kind of boat service from Ma'alai to bring people on a waterway type venue. So there's ideas, yes, a tunnel through the West Maui Mountains. Will that ever happen? I don't know. Like a H3 kind of thing. I mean, these are, yeah, options and ideas, but are they going to come to fruition? The point is, I think plans need to all be thrown out there. We need to look into every detail and aspect of it, work alongside federal, state entities, and see what really is sensible and what can happen. It's a big question. I don't have the answer right here, right now. I wish I did. There's a lot of variables here to look at. So I just want to say I wish I could the magic wand, but there's a magic bell. Mahalo.